I think it's time I told you all my secret. You see, I've always said on this stream that Valkyrie is goated, that she is the absolute best hero in the game, bar none. And I think it's time that I told you how I play her, right? I tell you the secret of how I play her. And actually, I've done this on live stream recently, and the video for this actual deck that I use, modified slightly, is up on YouTube, so you can actually watch it in action. But I'm going to go through how I play Valkyrie. Now, there are so many different ways to play Valkyrie, right? She is so versatile as a hero that you can play her in any single aspect. This is one I've been experimenting with a lot recently, with basically running Smash the Problem, because that's a card that's not used a lot, and I want to see if I can make it work with her, and it turns out you can, because she's so incredibly good. And again, one of the best heroes in the game. So we're going to break down the deck. We're going to show what's in it, because it's a larger deck. And if you'd rather see it in Marvel CDB, the description is, or the link to it's down in the description of this video. Make sure to check out the other links as well. But yeah, we're going to go down, talk a bit about the deck, and then we'll do some opening hands and closing hands. All right, here it is in all of its glory. Here is my Valkyrie deck that I've been playing a lot recently. So the idea of this deck is actually that you're going to be building out Valk pretty slowly. You see, one of the things I think people kind of, I wouldn't say forget about her, but they just kind of like brush aside, is that she can swing for a lot. Like, she can swing for a lot, like just attacking. She starts off with 2 attack, but once you get Dragon Fang into play, she gets a +1 attack, and then whatever has Death Glow attached gets a +2. Now, obviously, with minions, this makes her incredibly strong, that she can just destroy a minion and then ready up, right? Destroy a minion, ready up, which is really nice. The biggest complaints with her are that she has no resource generators to get Death Glow back out there, because there's a 1-cost card. And I get it, but then she'd be way too strong. I mean, just hands down, make the game just boring. So they couldn't do that. I get it. So we have some other cards that will deal with that in here. And we have a lot of events. Now, I want to say that a lot of these events, you don't have to run all of them. This is a 45 card deck technically, because she has 16 cards with Death Glow. So this is a 45 card deck. If you don't want to run a deck this large, you don't have to. You can take out these events. You can kind of see where you can take them out and put them back in and all that fun stuff. But anyway, that's just FYI. This is a very customizable deck. So the rough idea is we want to get her swinging a lot, get resource generators out there that keep putting Death Glow, and then manage the board state until we're built out and just ready for a push. Just ready for a crazy push. So as far as allies go, ever since Professor X came out, I've always put X with her. The reason being is because having 3 threat removal is huge. She only has 1, right, on her base stat line, and her threat in her kit isn't great. She can do large amounts at a time, but that's it. And you kind of need to lead into that. So I like Professor X to get the 3 threat removal and then confuse the villain. I think it's huge, because I do like flipping down with Valk. The reason being is because not to necessarily put Death Glow aside, which you could do, which isn't terrible, but I want the larger hand size or to recover, right? That's really what it comes down to. So that's why I'll do that. Now, as far as allies in aggression, we have Hulk, and I don't really ever use Hulk to attack. I use Hulk as a blocker. I like Marvel Boy for piercing. Because tough statuses on villains or enemies or whatever can be a little rough to deal with. So I like that. And this is also why we have Wolverine, which I've continuously said is the best, in my opinion, one of the best allies, if not the best ally for aggression. And then Psylocke, because once again, being able to confuse an enemy is really useful with her. Again, I want to flip down to either get Death Glow off or to just heal a lot or get the larger hand size. Now, I like Mean Swing a lot. You can actually run 3 of these and it wouldn't be too bad. So when your hero makes a basic attack, exhaust a weapon upgrade on your hero, and your hero gets +3 for that attack. Now, Dragon Fang doesn't exhaust to use, which is really useful. So now again, we talked about how she has a normal attack of 2. Dragon Fang makes it 3. Combat Training will make it 4, 5, 6, 7. Which could be really nice, right? Swinging 7 with Mean Swing is just super useful. And then if Death Glow is attached, it'd be 8 that she's swinging for, which is really nice. And then if you find to ready, or if you're able to ready her up from Death Glow, like you attach a minion first or whatever, then you can swing again, right? Like this kind of just builds on itself. But anyway, I like Mean Swing. You could add a 3rd one if you need to. I've messed around with that. It's not, it works. It works. So Mean Swing might be the way to go. Piercing Strike, you could probably take these out if you're not dealing with tough statuses. Again, tough statuses can kind of really slow her momentum down. So I want to use any cards to get rid of them, use any cards that can help get rid of a tough status is really what that's in there for. But if you're dealing with a minion or a villain set that doesn't have any tough, then you don't really need Piercing Strike. You can use something else. It's up to you, whatever you want to use, or you can just remove it entirely. Precision Strike I like a lot. It's a deal 2 damage to an enemy if that's attack defeats an enemy. Heal 2. Anything that lets you heal on your hero side is super useful, especially on Expert. So I like Precision Strike. I think it's a pretty good card. And again, you should be able to play around with damage with Valkyrie. That you should be able to use Precision Strike at the end if need be. Now, Smash the Problem is what I referred to earlier. Exhaust your hero. Remove threat from a scheme equal to your hero's attack. Again, we can get it to 2, 3 with Dragon Fang, 4 with Combat Training. Even if it's only at 3, removing 3 threat on pure or true solo is massive, right? That you will control the board state. Now, you won't do any damage, and I understand that that's like a big thing, but you won't do any damage, but that's okay. Because hopefully you have other things out there that control the board state, help you out, take out minions, all that fun stuff. But Smash the Problem is really just to, again, do big clears off the board, so you don't have to worry about threat getting too out of hand. We have all of our doubles up here and red doubles as well, with Power Aggression. I know a lot of these are 1-cost things, but a lot of these are 2. And a lot of these allies are expensive. And I want to get these allies in when possible. Now, as far as upgrades and supports, oh, I'm sorry, we have Godlike Stamina too, before I forget. You also get to heal using this card. Nice of it focused. Heal 2 damage from your identity, and you may discard a status card from your identity, which is huge, because if we're stunned, really slows us down, right? We don't want to be stunned. Godlike Stamina takes care of that, and then again, heals us. You could make the argument that Precision Strike isn't as useful, but I'm going to be probably taking on the chin a lot with Valkyrie. I will have an Endurance, so it will boost this up to 15 hit points, which is phenomenal. But that's because I want to get hit a few times. It doesn't bother me as much, and I don't have as many blockers out there. So, as far as supports, we do have Queen Carrier. This is going to be one of our resource generators that is going to help us get Deathglow back out there for us. The other one, which a lot of people don't run these cards, is Enhanced Physique. It's Exhaust Enhanced Physique, remove 1 physical counter from it, and generate a Fist resource, Strength resource. Again, this is really nice if you need to get Deathglow out multiple times. This combination will allow you to do it. You can have both Enhanced Physiques out there to get it out there 3 separate times, which you probably don't need to do it that many times, but the option is there. Martial Prowess we have so that we can help pay for our attack events, which is really helpful. Combat Training, which we've mentioned before, is to add 1 attack to our hero. Endurance, we talked about, to add 3 life to us. There it is. Assault Training I like because, like I said, we're going to be flipping down. It uses 2 training counters because we're not going to use it all the time, but you exhaust this card and remove 1 of the 2 counters from it to choose an aggression red event in your discard pile and shuffle it into your deck. This is just nice to have because if we get to the point where we're making the final push, I want to be able to flip down and get Mean Swing back into my deck, right? And probably pretty quickly, right? Or if I need Smash the Problem, right? Really, it's for these 2 cards, Precision Strike or Piercing Strike if you really need it to be. But really, it's for Mean Swing or Smash the Problem because, again, if threat's starting to get kind of crazy, I need to smash the problem and get rid of it as quickly as possible. Or Mean Swing if I'm doing that big 7-8 damage attack. Now, how do I get to 8? Warrior skill. And running a second warrior skill is pretty useful as well. You can't have both of them out there, but you can, get a better chance of drawing it. But it is a super helpful card to, again, get Valkyrie to swing for just a little bit more damage. So that is the entire deck and what it is. Let's talk a bit about strategy. Now, if you watch my live streams, I don't really play slow, right? I don't really play build out a lot. But Valkyrie, you do need to build out quite a bit, and it is a slower game. The reason being is because I need to get the majority of my upgrades and my supports out there, and I'm using Valkyrie to kind of control the board state. You will see me thwart 1 with Valkyrie all the time, right? And I know it's kind of like rough to do, and on certain enemies and certain villains, like that's really rough to do, and it's really hard to deal with. But you just got to do it, right? You just got to keep it down. Don't worry about doing small damage to the enemy. You're going to be doing massive damage to the enemy at the end. So don't even worry about that, in my opinion. You just want to keep the board state just level until you can get a Queen Carrier out there, Enhanced Physique out there, especially Combat Training, Warrior Skill, and preferably Martial Prowess. Assault Training would be nice. Endurance would be really nice, but they're not as necessary. But ideally, you want to get all of them out there. Assault Training you can go back and forth on depending on how long the game is going to take you. But again, those are the big ones. Those are the big ones that we want to get out there. We need to get those things out there because, again, they're going to help us so much. And her attack cards and her cards that she has in her kit, I mean, she has good build out cards as well. Valhalla is a fantastic card. After Valkyrie attacks and defeats an enemy that has Death Glow attached, exhaust Valhalla, draw a card, heal 1 damage from Valkyrie. Absolutely massive card. Aragorn gives her 4 extra life, which is huge. And I've seen people add Dive Bomb because this will give you aerial. You could do that. I've just never really gotten to work. Dive Bomb just has never worked with Valkyrie for me. Now, it's possible. We have the resource generation. We have everything to do it. And if you're dealing with a lot of minions, sure, swap out, Piercing Strike or whatever to put in Dive Bomb. You can absolutely do that, and it'll be pretty good. But there's just, it can be tough. It can be tough to do. And then past that, we have the Spear, which is kind of useless for us. Flight of the Valkyrie, which after an enemy with Death Glow is defeated, discard this card to remove 5 threat from the scheme. This is the hard thing with her, is that it's nice to get that on the table because when you have a side scheme or the main scheme built up by a lot, this can really reduce it by a ton. But it's not very reliable, and there's only 2 of them in the game. So those are basically the main cards that we have. They're what we got going on. So let's go back down the table. Let's do some opening hands or an opening hand, play through a little bit. Like I said, it's going to be a bit of a slower play because we're doing a lot more build out, and then we'll do our final push hand. All right, so let's get ready for our opening hand. We have Valkyrie out there with Death Glow. One thing I didn't note on the other side is a lot of people, I think, get over eager with attaching Death Glow right away onto things, like the villain or whatever. Don't do that. Like, attaching Death Glow isn't necessary all the time, right? There's a lot of times I'll play with Death Glow just like hanging out because the villain still has a lot of life yet left, and I know there are minions in the deck, so I don't want to do that too fast. So that's an important note. Dragon Fang and Queen Carrier are basically our 2 biggest priorities of to get out there on the table, right? If we see those cards, those are absolutely the first cards we go for. Enhanced Reflexes will help a lot, which will be useful. And then the Valhalla deck allows us to draw a card and heal up is really useful too. Past that, we're just going to kind of, like I said, play the game and just relax and hang out. So let's draw our 6 for opening hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so Choosers of the Slain, which again, I like this card a lot later on. Like when I'm ready to start knocking out minions, I like this card a lot. Godlike Sentiment, Annabelle Riggs, Have at the Hulk, and Dragon Fang. Okay, huge. So Dragon Fang we want right away. 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 we're going to get rid of. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we got some cool stuff going on actually, because what we can do, let's think about this. So we can use those. Aragorn wouldn't get out, which is the only bad thing. But I think we can hold on to Aragorn for a round. So for example, I would probably use Precision Strike to get in Dragon Fang right away. Use our double to get in Combat Training. So we're already swinging now for 4. And then these 2, I guess you would hold on to. I'd probably throw that away and hold on to Aragorn because I do want to get Aragorn to play. And then honestly, at this point, some people would be naturally inclined to throw away Valkyrie's Spear to put Death Glow. If there's a minion that starts out on the table, then yes, do that, attack, get that back so you can ready it up. And then I'd probably just thwart 1 off the main. If there's nothing on the main, then you can just attack the enemy for 2 or a minion, whatever else. But if there's 1 on the main, I would just thwart off the main in the beginning. And then we ready back up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quinn, huge. Okay, cool. So now they would go, right? It'd be the game's turn. And then I would just get hit in the face. That's fine. I don't really care. And it'd be my turn again. Now with these cards, Godlike Sentiment would be really nice. Aragorn's unfortunately going to have to get thrown away because Queen Carrier takes precedent. So Queen Carrier would come in, and then we'd also use Godlike Sentiment to heal ourselves up. Now, once again, if we need to use Quinn to attach Death Glow to something, we can do that now. If there's a minion out there, we put on the minion, we attack, defeat the minion because we're swinging for 2, 3, 4, 5 on that minion, which will take out most minions. And then ready up. And then again, I'm just thwarting 1 off of there. And then we're readying up again. Let's say we get hit in the face again, even though we healed up last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aragorn stinks to get rid of. That was the one bad thing. Valhalla, Precision Strike, Martial Prowess. Oh my gosh, this is a bonkers hand. So I would throw away my double to play Valhalla. I would throw away my other red double to play Martial Prowess, and then we can use Precision Strike with this. So we're already doing so well right now. We were built out phenomenal. We've done some damage, let's say. Actually, let's not even say we've done damage. Let's say we start doing damage now. So, for example, if they still have a decent amount of life and we're not gonna be able to knock them out with Precision Strike, we can just do Precision Strike. That's fine. Let's just say there's no minion to put Death Glow on, so we don't have to worry about this. And then we just swing for 4, right? We just do 4 damage, and then we ready up. We haven't even gotten our allies yet. Again, if the scheme is now starting to get kind of crazy, focus on thwarting. Don't worry about damage. Focus on thwarting. Keep that down. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Professor X. I mean, very, very timely. This is fantastic. So what I would do at this point is, let's say we get hit again. Scheme's getting kind of crazy. We can use a double and Flight of the Valkyrie to put in X. X is going to give it to you. It's going to confuse the villain, so we don't have to worry about an advance. Or if we want to flip down, I don't even need to flip down at this point because we are just doing bonkers good right now. But X is going to be out there, thwart 3 off the main scheme. At this point, I'm ready to just go. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I built this out so incredibly fast, like much faster than I thought I was going to, that we're good to go. So I would probably use, well, Godlike Stand, I'm going to heal up. I would probably use Queen Carrier at this point to put on Deathglow, and then we can just swing and use Mean Swing and probably knock him into the next stage because we are swinging for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at that point, which is a lot. If we knocked him into the next stage, let's say, we would get to heal 1, we get to ready up, and we get to draw a card, which is a Piercing Strike, which isn't super useful right now, unfortunately, because Martial Prowess won't work with that, but that's right. And then we can just swing for more damage. And then, again, our next round, X is going to take the damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a big ally like Wolverine. Oh my gosh, he's so good. Okay, so, again, we would have already flipped the villain at this point because of the amount of damage we're doing, probably. X would have taken the hit, gotten knocked out, whatever. The main scheme would be probably pretty high at this point, but I don't even care because I'm dumping all these cards. I'm putting Wolverine in. Wolverine is swinging 3. We're using Queen Carrier. Put it on there. That's 4, 4, or 2, 4, 5 damage. That was 8 right there, right? We're already doing so much right here. And then, again, if we need to use a block, 2, 3, 4, 5, or anything like that, let's just say Deathglow stays on. Let's say thwarting happens. Let's say we take the hit because we're probably good. We have Have-At-Thee now, which is just, it's going to decimate whatever we do. We could do Mean Swing on top of it. So hypothetically, what we could do is, you could do Chooser of the Slain if you really needed the cards, but you probably don't at this point. We have that on. I would use a Mean Swing to attack, right? Deal a lot of damage. Then we could dump the other 3 cards or save 1 with Queen Carrier and just do a Have-At-Thee, which is going to do 7 damage. Wolverine does damage. We already did so much damage like through this. Like that's how she could build out. Again, the hardest part of this is dealing with the threat on the main scheme. You would have to kind of keep that under control. I think we threw around away Psylocke a little bit earlier for Wolverine. If threat was getting crazy, you could put a Psylocke out there and to kind of thwart and keep the main scheme down. I'm not even going to do a finishing hand because this just shows you what it's like all the way through, right? That was actually kind of perfectly built out. Endurance was near the bottom, or double was near the bottom. Piercing Strike. Warrior skill would have been nice to get out a bit earlier. But you're doing so much damage at that point. You could do so much damage, as you can see. Like I said, I would normally do now an ending hand, but this is how I would play, and this is how aggressive she could be and how quickly she could be aggressive, especially with decent allies, whatever. So again, I want to stress this in the beginning. The big thing is you need to thwart over and over and over. Keep that down, and then build out with Queen Carrier, with Dragon Fang. Combat training helps a lot, and then Valhalla will help a lot. And again, if there were minions out there as well, it's a little bit more extended, right? If you weren't able to get the villain down and knocked out, you wouldn't play Deathglow until you know you could take that villain out, in my opinion. Or if the villain only has like a few cards left and you've seen all the minions and you're ready for like the last like final push in the last 2 rounds, then go for it, right? Absolutely go for it. So anyway, that just gives you a rough idea of everything. I decided the first time I did this was just too good. I wanted to show it off one more time to see if we can just kind of show it start to finish again, because we did a lot of rounds with her before. And again, I really want people to get the idea of what I'm trying to do all the way through it. And yeah, so I thought it'd be fun to just go through it one more time, because I think people struggle with Valkyrie because she'd be a little hard to pilot. So we got that all shuffled up. We draw her 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have Psylocke, Dragon. Okay. I don't always get Dragon Fang off the deal. Like sometimes it's combat training, which is fine, right? Again, we're aggressively going for Dragon Fang, but this is kind of nuts. Aragorn would be nice. Psylocke would be nice to confuse the enemy. 2, 3, 4. But I don't think I'm gonna do that. So let's dump these 4. I'm gonna hold on to Aragorn and dump these 4 cards and draw 4 more. 1, 2, 3. Oof. All right, those are some rough cards to get, but that's okay. We can figure that out. So what I would do at this point is I would flip up. I would use a card to put in Dragon Fang, absolutely. And then I would actually probably dump both my, not both my Godlike Stem. Godlike Stem and Have At Thee to play Aragorn to get the 4 life. And again, I would just thwart 1. I'm just trying to keep this down. If there's no threat there, then you could do 2 damage or whatever else. Or do 2 damage to a minion would probably even be better. If there was a minion out there that I could destroy with 4 damage, let's say, I would get rid of Godlike Stem. Let's say there was a minion out there. Do 4 damage, knock that minion out, because most likely 4 can do it. If 4 couldn't, right? Then we just have to leave him out there with 4 damage, but hopefully 4 could do it. And then if it did, we could thwart for 1, do 2 damage, whatever else. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more cards. Warrior Skills Knight, double red, Have At Thee. Okay, these are, again, really aggressive cards. So let's say we get hit. And I don't really care as much because I have 16 life, so I'm probably doing all right at this point. So if it's my turn, I'm going to use the double red to put in Warrior Skill, which is going to allow us to do more damage each time. Have At Thee isn't going to work great, unfortunately. But let's say we did some damage. Let's say another new minion came in, right? Just a 4 life minion or whatever. I probably throw away Piercing Strike to put Deathglow on that minion, and I would mean swing with them and just deal massive amounts of damage. If I needed more, I could use Warrior Skill, but I would destroy them, ready myself up. Hold on to the Have At Thee if need be. And again, thwart 1, right? I'm keeping that threat down because I'm just keeping the board state pretty calm. Queen Carrier will be huge to get out when I can. You can decide now if you want to hold on to Have At Thee. I'm going to say I'm not at this point. Let's say we already took out 2 minions. Things are going pretty well for us right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, we're just thwarting 1 off. We're keeping that main scheme down or as close to down as we can. Smash the Prom, Flight of the Valkyrie, Have At Thee, Valhalla, and Godlike Stamina. Okay. So at this point, villains probably attacking us, all that fun stuff. We can use Godlike Stamina to heal us up slightly, which is going to be super useful. We'll dump 2 cards to play Valhalla. Again, let's just say there's another minion that popped out, right? I'm going to throw away this card, attach Deathglow on, swing for 4 damage. If I need that 5th one, use Warrior Skill. Hopefully, if we knock them out, we get to ready up. We get to use Valhalla, which will allow us to draw a card and heal 1 from Valkyrie. Now, again, let's say the villain was getting near down or there was another minion out there. Throw this away, put Deathglow on. Hopefully, maybe knock them out again. Put this back, ready up. And again, at the end, you want to be keeping the threat down. Keep the threat down as much as possible. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am not getting allies both times, which is interesting. Martial Prowess, which is good. Professor X is bigger and a bigger card. All right. They deal some damage. You know, I'm hanging in there. I'm doing all right, but you know, it's hurting a little bit. Let's say, hey, we could use Chooser the Slain, search the encounter deck, and discard pile for a minion. Let's take one of those easy minions we had before and put them back into play. We get to draw 2 cards. Smash the Problem, Precision Strike. That's fine, because all we're gonna really do is use a card. Let's say we had to. Let's say it was. What could we do? Actually, we could do a couple things with this. Now that I think about it, I'd probably throw away 2 cards to get Martial Prowess into play. No, because we want X. We would definitely want X at this point. Martial Prowess would be really nice, but I don't think it will work. Well, all right. So we use Shield Maiden. Put it on that minion that we just got out there. Swing, knock out that minion. We get it back. I would dump 3 cards to put X in. If the main scheme was advancing a little bit faster than we wanted to or whatever, we could thwart for 3. Get it back down. Hopefully it's still within check now, and confuse the villain so that, again, we're not worrying about an advance or anything like that. Usually if we were trying to get through a deck fast to find Dragon Fang, I'd probably flip down at this point, whatever else, or probably next turn because let X take the block. And again, we're probably pretty good. Martial Prowess, I don't know. I would probably hold on to for a little bit. 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, Martial Prowess is about to get thrown out. Queen Carrier we haven't gotten yet, so it's been a little rough. We have to just be careful with our hands, right? Balance everything out, but that's fine. X would take the hit, get knocked out, which is fine. And then let's say we're getting ready to flip the villain, right? We figure the villain's gonna be a pretty good spot to flip soon. I would dump 4 cards and play Wolverine, to be completely honest. I play Wolverine, deal the 3 damage, and then I would just swing for 2, 3 damage. If need be, warrior skill that we haven't used yet, or if we have, do 4 more damage. That's 7 damage right there. Let's just say the villain is still hanging on though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would take the hit again. Okay. Let's say we get, again, we take the hit, we put the threat on. We have to start being careful now with the threat. Choose a sling, get that easy minion back in. All right, perfect. I would throw away a double to put combat training in for sure. Queen Carrier, I don't know if we would need Queen Carrier at this point. It probably doesn't hurt. We'll throw away a double and enhance physique to put Queen Carrier in. Let's say we had that easy minion in there. Use Queen Carrier. Bam. Knock him out, right? Readies us up. Perfect. Let's say we use Wolverine, right, to deal some damage onto them. That's fine. We would need to deal damage, mean swing, knocks him into the next stage, right? Also, we would have done Valhalla to draw a card, which is fine. Also healed up Valkyrie a little bit. And then they would have been flipped into the next stage. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have our 5th one with the double. And then we shuffle this up. Again, now, okay, maybe with extra bad cards, some things are starting to happen. Maybe we have to use Wolverine as a blocker next round. Let's just say we do that, right? Wolverine uses the blockers. We're getting a little worried. The threat's getting a little high, right? We got to worry about that too. That's fine. Because what I'd probably do at this point is use a double red to play Hulk, because Hulk is now going to be our blocker. I would use a double to play Annabelle Riggs, only so that I can thwart one and keep this down, right? This threat on the scheme. We can use Queen Carrier. Let's say make the final push, knocks out the villain, right? Knocks out the villain. Next stage, we get to ready up. Use Valhalla to heal up 1. Draw a card. It's a double. Let's go. Throw away this to put Enhanced Physique in. Now, exhaust this. Start doing final push stuff, right? Because we've gone through a lot of minions, all that fun stuff. We're doing 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to the villain. And then let's ready up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Annabelle takes the hit. She gets knocked out. That's fine. It's our turn again. Actually, this stays out there. Martial Prowess, Professor X. Depending on what you need to do at this point, right? If you need to get Professor X to get that threat down, do that. If you need Marvel Boy to deal the damage or Precision Strike to deal damage, do that. Whatever is going to help you get through this final push. But you could probably do both these things. So let's do 2 cards to put in Marvel Boy. He's going to swing, deal 2 damage. Then we can throw away a card, do Precision Strike, deal 2 damage. We can use, what can we use after that? Nothing. We're good. Because then we can just swing, use Warrior Skill, which has probably gotten knocked out at this point. We're swinging for 2, 4, 5. And then we had, what was it? 6, 7, 8, 9 damage at this point. And if we need to do like a final 3, we could do it with Hulk if we really need to. Right, like you can see just how quickly we could do these things. Again, as a blocker, the next hand, if we needed to survive, that the main threat's gonna be the concern at this point. 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you remember earlier when we had X out there, I think it was this game. Hopefully you'd be confused. And then we're just, these are okay cards. There's nothing great here, unfortunately. Chooser or Slayer would probably be what we use to just get rid of a minion quickly, maybe. And then we could do Psylocke, which would be nice. Dump some cards, whatever else. That was a bit of a weaker hand there at the very end. But we're still swinging for 2, 4, 5 damage, which is a lot. Marvel Boy for another 2. Psylocke would get us another 2 because of her counters, and confuse the villain if need be. And that's what we would do. That's what we would do. Now, again, the things that will throw wrenches into it is your obligation is a little bit rough. Where here we go. Valkyrie cannot attack an enemy with Death Glow attached, so you have to flip down and get rid of this. This is a really rough card to deal with. And then if you got into the Enchantress stuff, right? Enchantress, if you get that, it's going to be really rough. As you can tell, Valkyrie is incredibly powerful, so they had to give her the hardest nemesis. I get it. But anyway, it was a bit longer. Just wanted to show this, but that's kind of how I play her start to finish all the way through. Almost every single villain will look roughly the same. Again, I talked about earlier that some of her cards, I would adjust her event cards depending on what's going on. Maybe you need to thwart a little bit more, so you put in some extra aggression cards that can remove threat, or allies that can remove threat. Maybe you need to do more piercing stuff, whatever else. You need to adjust it just a little bit, but this idea is the same. Thwart with her early on. Don't put Death Glow until you're ready to knock out the enemy, whatever it is. Get Dragon Fang out as soon as humanly possible. Queen Carrier as well. Aragorn is nice. Combat training is like third, fourth round, really important to get there. Valhalla is really nice. Enhanced Physique helps a lot down the road. Again, especially if you're dealing with lots of minions, to get Deathglow out there multiple times. All right, I really hope this helps, right? I really hope this video helps. I hope it gives you a rough idea, because I think Valkyrie gets a bad rap. Now, again, is she really hard to navigate? Yes, there's a lot of reading of the board that you have to do. But really, the quote-unquote secret with her is, again, thwarting with her early on, I think helps a lot. If you're dealing with a scenario where you have to do a lot of threat removal, I probably switch her to Justice or Leadership. It's a lot easier then. But for a normal villain, doing the one threat removal each round will help a lot. Just keep it in check while you build out, right? You have 12 hit points. Get the hits, take the hits. Use cards like Godlike Stamina to ready or to heal you up. Cards like, what is it? A Valhalla will help heal you up, which is really nice. And then being able to use Endurance and Aragorn, right, is really nice to basically like raise up your hit points a lot and to get your hit points higher, which helps a lot. Once you get Professor X out there, or you get who is it? Professor X, you get Psylocke out there, right? Things that let you confuse the enemy, which will help a lot, because Advance can really throw you through a loop and really, kind of mess up your hand. That can hurt a lot, so getting them out there is huge, and they remove a lot of threat, which is really nice. And again, the biggest mistakes I see with Valkyrie, people attack too early. They don't go for Dragon Fang and Queen Carrier right away. I think those are necessary with her. They're afraid to use Enhanced Physique, and they try to rush her a little bit faster, and they attach Deathglow before they're ready, right? I'll see this all the time. That people make the argument, well, you just flip her down to Alter Ego, and then you can get Deathglow faster, or to get Deathglow unattached. You can do that. I don't recommend doing that often. I think people rely on flipping down too much. I don't think she's that much of a flipping hero. I will flip her to get to Dragon Fang, Queen Carrier, combat training faster if need be, and I had Professor X or Psylocke out there that was confusing the villain, right? And they were confused, and everything stays in check there. Then sure, I'll flip down. That's not as big of a deal, but it's not something I'm doing all the time, and that's not how I like to detach Deathglow. Again, just don't attach Deathglow until you're ready to immediately get it off of whatever the villain or the minion that's out there. So like I said, hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully this was enjoyable. If you enjoyed this series, hit the like button, hit subscribe. All that fun stuff really helps with the channel. And also make sure you check out Vision. I did Vision recently, which is a lot of fun. Basically, it's running Vivian, and Vivian's really strong. So hopefully you like the series, and I'll see you all next time.